Liv Morgan's revenge hit a speed bump, but just took an interesting new direction. So we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's new for Becky Lynch, Uncle Howdy, and more. Starting things off with what appears to be a new direction for Liv Morgan. After the Women's World title was vacated, a lot of fans felt like Liv was in the conversation to be the next Women's World Champion. So we get to the Battle Royal match for the vacated Women's World title, and it comes down to the final three that a lot of fans expected to see. It came down to Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax. Liv was able to make it to the final two along with Becky Lynch, but Liv was unable to win the entire thing and take home the Women's World title, which is a devastating result for Liv Morgan. But in a way, her character has still achieved her big goal without technically needing to win the Women's World title. Liv's main mission was to take the world title off of Rhea Ripley as a way of taking revenge against Rhea for how Rhea injured her in the summer of 2023. Now, Liv didn't pin Rhea for the title to take it off of her, but Liv basically was the sole individual behind Rhea's injury, which made Rhea end up vacating the title. In a sick and twisted way, Liv Morgan still majorly succeeded in that overall character goal of taking the title off of Rhea Ripley. Liv may not be the champion herself, but the blow isn't that hard, because Liv can say that she still took the title off of Rhea Ripley. She can still check off that mission off her checklist. So with that goal of technically dethroning Rhea Ripley out of the way, what's next for Liv Morgan? Well, the April 22nd edition of Raw appeared to heavily hint at a new storyline for Liv Morgan. In a backstage segment, Liv Morgan walked up to Dominik Mysterio and they both had a mini face-off with each other. Not a single word was spoken, they just stared into each other's eyes and the segment ended there and cut to black. When Liv Morgan said that she was coming to take everything away from Rhea Ripley, it doesn't look like she was playing around at all. So what meaning does this Dominik and Liv face-off really have? Well, obviously it's still very early in the story and that backstage segment didn't have a single word of dialogue. So it's extremely difficult to see what exactly was in the characters' heads. But judging by the large overall reaction from the fans, it looks like one of the most popular guesses is that this could be going down a romantic route for Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio. Dominik and Rhea have been madly in love with each other ever since Dominik first joined the group in 2022. Sure, they've had small hiccups in their relationship, but for the most part, nothing ever drifted Dominik and Rhea away from each other. But now that they're away from each other, since Rhea's out on injury, is Liv Morgan trying to get herself closer to Dominik on a personal level, all just to spite Rhea Ripley? Maybe Liv Morgan has no actual interest in Dominik Mysterio, but she's basically toying with him over the next few weeks to pull him away from Rhea Ripley. Something along those lines. That would be a nice way to technically keep Liv and Rhea's feud with each other going while Rhea's out with an injury. Sort of like how WWE has found little things to keep Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's feud going while Punk is out with his injury. Same idea here, just little things to keep Liv and Rhea's storyline fresh in everyone's minds. Maybe Liv is so obsessed with ruining Rhea's life that taking the title off of her and injuring her wasn't enough for Liv. She now wants to take Dominik away from Rhea as well. So that story will be interesting to follow, and a lot will come down to Dominik's actions as well. Does he bend and fold, get lost in whatever Liv is planning to do with him? Or will he stay strong and loyal to Rhea Ripley? Well, since Dominik Mysterio is a heel, maybe he does run off with Liv Morgan. Having Dominik backstab Rhea's trust and love only paints Rhea Ripley to look like an even more sympathetic babyface character for her return. Rhea would be coming back and targeting Liv Morgan, the woman who injured her, costed her the title, and took Dominik away from her. So it'll be very interesting to see where this Dominik and Liv angle goes in the next few weeks, because so far, it looks like it'll have heavy implications for Rhea and Liv's story later this year. Becky Lynch walked out of the Battle Royal as the new Women's World Champion, and that was a little bit of a shocker to some fans because all everyone has been hearing lately, even from Becky herself, is that she had little to no time left on her WWE contract, and how she hasn't spoken to anyone about an extension yet. There was even reports following WrestleMania 40 that Becky was going on a hiatus that could possibly extend into the expiration time of her current deal. Well, Becky Lynch returned to WWE earlier this week and directly called out the false reports claiming that she was on a hiatus. And now, after seeing Becky Lynch win her 7th world title on the April 22nd edition of Raw, fans think that that's the biggest indication that Becky and WWE must have inked a new deal recently. There's still no official word on Becky's contract status, but fans just assume that if they're putting that title on her, it's gotta mean that she's staying after all. However, the Raw women's division isn't that heavy at the top right now. Becky's biggest challengers would basically be just Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, but thankfully the draft is coming, so hopefully that evens out the field again for the women's division. A new Uncle Howdy teaser aired on the April 22nd edition of Raw that appears to put the final stamp of confirmation that these teasers are a part of the Bray Wyatt Universe. This week's teaser featured a prompt where you could type words and get back a response. Well, it didn't take long for fans to find out some Easter egg prompts that were thrown in there that also served as a confirmation about who's behind this. If Bray is typed in, you get a response that reads, "Remembered." If Wyatt or Windham is typed in, you're met with a response that reads, "Forever." Putting Howdy's name in generates a response that reads, "Hello," as if he's acknowledging that he's behind the operation and that you're talking to him. Putting Bo's name into the prompt gives a unique message that reads, "He saw." Typing in "red" generates the response "circle," another Bray Wyatt reference to the red circle emoji that he started using a few years back to talk about how things in life just always come back around like a circle. The red circle just became popularly affiliated with Bray Wyatt ever since he said that, so it's a nice little reference to him. The teaser itself featured someone walking up to a house and seeing a note on the floor that said, "Remember who you are." So for any doubters that were still questioning if it truly was Uncle Howdy or not, all of those prompt Easter eggs appear to fully confirm who this is about. But the teasers in this rollout have been right on par with the White Rabbit rollout. So far, the teasers have honored Bray's legacy and life so perfectly. Everything we're seeing right now truly feels like it was handcrafted and developed by Bray Wyatt. It doesn't feel like a ripoff, doesn't feel like a knockoff, it just feels like a project that's coming directly from Bray Wyatt's hands. It's still gonna hit fans pretty hard when Howdy and the faction comes out and Bray's not walking out with them. It's gonna hurt a lot, no doubt about it. But as of right now, it's been handled like something that Bray would be extremely supportive and proud of. There's still no dates on the teasers besides the words, "coming soon," but like we mentioned on the last breakdown, this is a return that only is fit for a premium live event, so Backlash should be the date that we're definitely circling on our calendars. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys!